Hello everyone. Today we're going to be doing a Yin Yoga class. I'm in the Pilates studio, so I'll have a Pilates reformer that turns into a mat, but you can just have your regular yoga mat, Pilates mat, carpet, blanket, whatever feels good. We're not going to be doing a whole lot of shifting. We're going to keep it pretty smooth, keep our flow at the center of our practice today. And yeah, I'm very excited to move with you all. We're going to start all the way in a child's pose. So go ahead and bring the tips of your toes together. Knees can come as wide as the carriage or as wide as your mat. And try to keep your sits bones, instead of in an arch, in like a rounded position, almost magnetized towards your heels. And you're going to walk, and then you're going to walk your hands out a little bit farther. If you can, go ahead and rest the head all the way down to the floor. You can also place a block or your hands here as needed. Gently begin to walk your hands towards your thighs. We'll come into a cow position next. Knees can come right underneath the hip sockets. Soften the elbows. We'll take the tail up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, round in the spine, look towards the navel. Good, deep breath in. Exhale. Next posture we're going to move into is a puppy dog pose. So I'm going to try to keep the knees right underneath my hips, gently press into the tops of the feet. I'm going to take my elbows down first, and then gently walk my chest a little farther into the mat. Your head can come all the way down, or if you're a little more mobile in the chest, your chin can come down. You want to keep a small engagement in the low abdominals here. Gently articulate the spine to shift your weight to your elbows, to make your way into a cobra position. Elbows come a little bit farther, a little bit in front from the shoulders. Nice. I'm just going to hold it here. Abdominals drawing up and in. Nice. Think of the tail getting longer, reaching farther away from the nose. We're going to gently let that left arm come long. Right arm can stay bent, and then you're going to fold in the right knee. Knee can be in line with the hip socket or just a little bit above, but not too far. You can lay on the side of the left cheek. You can also lay on the left arm. Breath out, go ahead and lift the head, come back to that cobra, lift in the belly, and then we'll switch to the other. back up onto your elbows. Stay in that cobra for one more inhale and exhale. And then place your hands underneath your shoulders. Push yourself all the way up. We're going to begin to move into a lunge series next. So go ahead and come all the way up onto your knees. Place your right foot forward and then wiggle it so it's slightly outside of your hip socket. Both hands are going to come in towards your center for a lizard pose. Good. You can stay here with the arms long. We'll be here for about 20 breaths. When you're ready, you're welcome to come all the way down. Let the elbows be heavy onto the mat. Good. Wherever you are, right? And just find your deep breaths. If it feels good, you can let that right foot come to the outside as the right hip opens. Ready, step foot back down, come back onto your palms. And we're going to shift into an opposing stretch for the hamstrings. And make sure both sits bones are right under you. That right hip is reaching back to the hip socket, so you don't want it to slide forward. Good. Keep a little flexion in the ankle. You can always bend a little bit more. You're just sending the sits bones back as you send the head forward. Try your best to avoid rounding here. If you need to, place some blocks or a couple books underneath your hands to bring the height of the floor up to you. And we breathe here again another 20 breaths. Like and it feels okay on the knee, you can Begin to draw the hips back and take a When you're ready, back up to a seated position, and we'll move into our pigeon pose. So again, you want to shift your weight forward like you're to a lunge, and then cross your right ankle over to your left side, so it's in front of your left wrist. And then keep walking your weight forward. Try not to drop. If you have the hips pretty high, you can place a pillow under that hip flexor, top of the thigh. Otherwise, just let your hips slowly draw closer to the floor. You can start to bring your elbows down. If that feels good, again, you can place a block here. Rest the top of the head. And if that feels good, you can keep going to where your arms are extended. Slowly push into your hands. You're going to rock onto your right hip to come out of this, and then bring your left leg forward in front of you. I'm going to leave my right leg soft in a big bend, and then I'm going to draw my left leg across. Try to keep both sits bones heavy onto the mat. And you're going to start squeezing in the right knee. You can place the left hand behind the left hip, and then exhale, take a little rest. See if you can keep softening in the shoulders, soften in the belly. Ready, unspiral. We're going to stack the legs. I'm going to face you so you can see what position I'm in. So the knees are going to be stacked. If you want it a little bit less, the feet draw in towards the thighs. If you're a bit more here, like you feel the sits bone lifting, you can place a little pillow here and so it can soften onto something. And it can be quite a thick pillow if your knee is pretty high. But you want both sits bones, again, heavy into the mat. And I want both feet even. So I'm going to reach both fairly far. So they're both at a somewhat 90-degree angle, maybe a little bit less. But they're both equal to each other. We're going to start with an inhale. Find a long spine, deep abdominals pull as you exhale. And then slowly round forward. So again, we're here about 20 breaths. You can let this just fall to the side and let the head and chest drape the legs. Slowly begin to restack the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Head comes up last. And then to get out of this, I'm going to shift my weight onto my right side. Left foot comes down. And then I am in my lizard pose on the other side. So again, I have hands in between my foot. Foot is on the outside, framing my hands. This side is a little tighter, so I'm going to stay up a little bit longer. We have 3 breaths here on this side as well. slowly begin to press into the left foot, push into the palms, and we'll come up back to that back knee. Adjust the foot as you need to so that both sits bones are even, and you can hang from the hip socket, not the upper back. Okay? So again, sending the sits bones back behind you as you flex in the ankle. You can bring blocks here underneath the palms or books if you're at home. And using your inhales and especially your exhales to soften in the back of the leg, and even more so softening in your spine. If it feels good and you're shifting back, make sure that the knee is gently relaxed. There's no pitching. Take your time slowly coming out of that, and we'll move into our pigeon pose. So placing the hand in front, adjusting that left ankle so it's in front, behind the right wrist, and then adjust the hips as you need to. If you need a pillow underneath the hip, go ahead and do so. When you're ready, coming all the way down if that feels good, or stay up high. You can let a block come underneath the forehead, or if this feels good, you can continue by laying all the way down. breathing, press into the palms, roll yourself up. And we'll bring that right leg this time around on the opposite side, left knee. And you're going to draw that right knee into the chest and twist over the right. Try to make sure both sits bones are even as best you can. And then we'll move into our stacked pose. These are stacked toes are reaching away for a hand stretch, or you can keep bringing them in. Okay. Sitting on your sits bones, take a deep breath in, and then use your exhale to fold and round over the legs. Your time rolling up, everyone, and then we'll uncross legs and come into a straddle position. It doesn't have to be your widest straddle. Nice. We're going to just leave the legs there to sort of untwist a moment, and then we're going to take a little stretch for the upper back and shoulders. So go ahead and place one hand level, it's 90 degrees with your shoulder socket, and then the other arm is going to come around. If this does not feel good, you can come here, and that should be plenty. Right? Otherwise, you're going to try to interlace fingers, and you want to keep the elbows reaching up. Nice. My lower belly is engaged here, so I'm thinking long spine. Sits bones root down as I lift the elbows up inches. And then exhale, I'm going to round it forward. So a few more like that. Deep breath in. And exhale to round. ahead and uninterlace the fingers. Nice. Arms out wide, flex the feet, flex in the wrists. Nice. Do that all on the other side. One arm reaches up and down, other arm reaches under. Interlace the fingers and keep pressing the elbows up. Nice. We take an inhale to maybe lift a few more inches. And then exhale, soften the chest and sternum. Last one. Again, uninterlace the fingers, flex the arms out to the side walls. Very nice. We're going to keep reaching that left up and over. It's okay if you reach the opposite direction. Keep both sits bones reaching down into the floor as you reach to the side wall. Nice. I'm thinking much more about length here, sort of just folding over. I'm going to keep reaching out through the opposite toes and fingers. If it's available to you, take your time. You go ahead and grab onto the toes. Keeping both shoulders away from the ears. And you want to try to reach the sternum through without over pulling. Just a gentle pull. Stay on the side and just fold everything over the leg, placing hands on both sides of the calf and just drape over. Walk both elbows towards your midline, towards your center. We'll hold a bit here. Again, thinking of a long spine, abdominals are engaging, feet are still flexing, and no need to hypermobilize the legs here. You can always keep a soft bend. Toes are active, heels are reaching energy out. If it feels good and it's available to you, you can widen the arms and let the chest come through. your chest is down, bring hands back under your shoulders. Slowly come back up. Wiggle your legs, shake your legs if you need to. Get a bar side body stretch to the other side. Okay, so I'm going to place one hand down. Think of reaching tall in the spine first, and then going up and over when you're ready. Available to you, you can reach and grab onto that toe. Try to keep the shoulder away from the ears. Keep trying to reach that chest through. Ready, go ahead and just drape over that left leg. Ready, roll up through the spine, vertebrae at a time. Okay, so our final pose or posture will be a hero's pose. Depending on knee mobility and if you have knee injuries or knee injuries, you can skip this one and you move into a child's pose or even a happy baby if that's better on the knees. Okay. So for hero's pose, actually face you. I'm going to widen the knee just a little bit so that my hips can drop through my feet. Okay, you can always sit on a block here. Always, always. You want to keep the navel up and in. Keep rooting the sits bones down into the mat. Adjust as you need to. Ready, bring your heels back together, bring your knees back together, and we'll rock onto our side, come into a half lotus or just a crisscross applesauce position. So we'll finish with a nice little meditation allowing the eyes to soften or your gaze to soften. Taking a deep breath in, reach the arms all out, all active fingertips come in front of the face to meet at heart center in your prayer pose. Gentle press into the hands to widen the back. As we stay here for 20 breaths. These 20 breaths, thank yourselves for making time, making room and space in your day. Just to take a little more inventory of your body, bring more awareness to your sensations, and to really be in the present moment. Your hands just open to the outs of your knees. Thank you everyone so much for taking class. Feel free to take a little shavasana or a little nap, whatever you need. Make sure to drink lots of water after the class, and I'll see you next day. Ciao, Bellas.